Welcome to DVC Alumni, where every story inspires the next. The official podcast of the Diablo Valley College Alumni Association. As we celebrate 75 years of DVC's impact on education, careers, and community, we're honored to share the incredible journeys of alumni who've transformed their time on our vibrant campus into meaningful careers, community contributions, and personal success. Each Tuesday, we spotlight DVC alumni, from first-generation graduates to entrepreneurs, educators, and leaders who share the triumphs, challenges, and pivotal moments that shaped their lives. And on Thursdays, it's Resource Thursday. We dive into the programs, departments, and services that make DVC the supportive, dynamic community it is, exploring how they serve students and how you can connect with them. Whether you're a current student, recent graduate, or longtime alum, join us as we honor DVC's legacy and discover how our past continues to inspire the future. Thank you for being part of this journey. Be sure to tune in, subscribe, and celebrate with us. DVC Alumni, where every story inspires the next. And now, join our host, Alumni Manager, Charlie Daly.
All right.
All right, and we are live. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Joe Stokely, former student and graduate from Diablo Valley College.
Yay. Okay, cool. So I know, Joe, you and I have known each other for, I don't know, oh my gosh, probably 25 years.
20, yeah. It's been a good
20 plus. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit, and I know you grew up around here and stuff like that. So talk about what it was like growing up around here, where you went to school,
Sure.
Things like that.
Yeah. Well, I'll start way back, and I'll just take a moment.
Back in the olden days.
Back in the olden days. So I was born in the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know the history of our ancestors, but my mom and dad grew up there and their parents and stuff. So it goes back a ways. And then back in 1970, my dad had got an offer to relocate to the West Coast, as they used to refer to it then, going to the coast. So we first moved out here. I was, I think, 8 years old, and we landed in San Mateo, lived there for 4 years. And during that time, my father took another job over in Berkeley. And even back in those days, traffic was bad. And he was driving to Berkeley and to San Mateo.
Oh, geez.
And that took a long time then. So anyway, he started looking and found this great town of Pleasant Hill. So we moved from San Mateo to Pleasant Hill in June of 74. And so I was in junior high school. So I went to Pleasant Hill Intermediate. Mm-hmm. And then went to Pleasant Hill High School, which was a great high school, met great people that I'm still friends with to this day. And I was the last class to graduate. They closed their school down in 1980. So from there, I did not know what I was going to do. We didn't have some illustrious lineage and career in the military, so I wasn't looking. And that was shortly after the Vietnam War. My mom didn't want me to do that, so didn't join there. Mom and dad weren't ever pushing me to go to college or anything like that. So I didn't really know what to do. So my friend Matt Turner said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "I don't know." And he goes, "Did you think about going to DVC?" And I said, "No, not really." And he goes, "Well, you should go." I remember sitting in the dining room. He helped me sign up for all my classes. And I came here and I absolutely loved it. I mean, from day one, I fell in love with this school, and I never was a great student. I don't know what the problem was, but I never got great grades, and I never really liked school too much. But I really, the switch went on when I came to DVC. I really was interested in learning and education, and I'd say it had to do a lot with the teachers, the professors here that made me more interested the way they presented it. And I strived like never before to get A's and B's. And I did.
Wow.
My grade, I never had like a 3-point anything grade point average ever before. And I came to the school and I was like, I can do it. So I ended up going here for 2 years, got my associate arts degree. And I really think DVC played a big role in molding me to become the person I am today.
Cool. So I know a little bit of your history, and you've told me bits and snibs and snabs about some of the stories, and it's like, well, no, I find them interesting. So, so you went from DVC, and what did you do beyond that?
Went to Sacramento State.
Okay.
Went to up there. Again, I never knew really what to like. DVC was great, and then life was great, and then went to college up there. Got done with Sac State, and then I got my first real job, I guess, and it was with like I've worked ever since I've been 16. But as far as like, hey, I don't want to work weekends and holidays and nights and all that kind of stuff, so I intentionally went out to get a job, 9 to 5 type of thing, Monday through Friday. And so I went and I got a job in Oakland working for a company called Gray Bar Electric.
Oh, yeah.
It was an electrical distributor company, and had a great experience there. And shortly after that, married my girlfriend, who's my wife still to this day, Sheila. And we got married, and a few years later bought a house in Pittsburgh, and kind of did that thing for a while.
Mm-hmm. So I know one of the stories you were telling me about, and I'd love for you to talk about it because, excuse me. So you told the story of it, and I learned every time I talk to you, I learn something new about you, and I just find it amazing because you've done so many different things. That's what I mean. It's not some like, oh my God, but it's just like, oh really? So you told me the story about you owned a car wash. So how did you get into having a car wash at one point? That's
a good story, and I learned a lot from the car wash. Well, here's the thing I'll say is, you're right. I've done a lot of things, and during all those things I was doing, sometimes I wasn't really happy with myself because I was like, I look at other friends that are firemen or policemen or whatever they might be, and I'm like, yeah, those people just know what they want to do with their life, and they've been consistent doing the same thing. I'd say I jumped around a lot, and sometimes I liked that, and sometimes I didn't. Looking back, reflecting on it now, I think it was really good. Mm-hmm. I think it's really good because you get an opportunity to learn and see what a lot of other people are doing. And I've taken all that experience and I think I apply it to what I have now. But the car wash phase of my life was when my mom and dad, they relocated. My dad had a business down in Southern California. And for years he commuted, which I couldn't do, man. He flew out on Mondays and came back on Fridays.
Probably flew PSA.
PSA, sure.
Yep.
Yes. I love PSA. Yep. So you fly down there, and eventually they moved down there, my mom and dad, from Pleasant Hill down to West Covina. And where they lived in West Covina was a lot like Lafayette. They lived up in the hills, and their neighbor up there, I was like, what does that guy do? Had some big, beautiful home. I remember like 4 or 5 Mercedes. And my dad said, oh, he owns car washes. Now, car washes down in Southern California are like huge. People really love their automobiles in LA area. And so this guy, I think, had like 7 car washes.
Oh my.
Yeah. And they would do like 1,000 cars a day, like just all day long. Boom, boom, boom. So that made a big impression on us. My dad, they lived down there for several years. He retired from that business, moved back up here, up to Bethel Island. They had a home up there. So they moved up here. And, but he was antsy. He wasn't ready to sit around, do nothing or play golf or whatever. So he found this car wash in Pittsburgh on Railroad Avenue. And it was a fixer upper. It was on its last legs. And I think he was thinking the same thing like this guy across the way when they lived in Southern California. And my dad's a really smart guy. He's a great businessman. I've learned a lot from him. And he was like, and here's an opportunity. So he said, hey, we're going to be buying that car wash. And I was in real estate at that time as well. I was doing mortgage loans with a bank called American Savings and Loan, if you remember them. And I was doing well there. I really liked it, but I really was excited about the opportunity to work with my father and to work alongside him and learn from him how to run a business. And so the car wash, I got to do that with him, and I credit the car wash, like DVC, with the person I am today as far as like, hey, can I wash a car really good? I don't know about that, but I really learned how to work with people and how how to work with and train and appreciate employees, and that's something that I've carried with ever since. So it's really important, my friend Tony, who's a business broker, would say he sells and buys businesses for people, and he'd ask a fellow like, "Hey, what made you successful in your business? Okay, what? Tell me about your business." And the guy, whatever who was like, my business was great. You know why? Because of the people that work for me. Mm-hmm. Or another person said, my business was horrible because of the people that work for me. So it's all about the people and how you treat them and respect them, and you get that back. So that was a great learning experience, people wise. Yeah, with the car wash.
You're very careful to say people wise.
People wise, yeah. Okay, yeah. I didn't really enjoy the car wash. It wasn't challenging enough for me. And it wasn't like Southern California, like today, if it rains or the threat of rain, people won't come in and get their car washed. Mm-hmm. Down there, a different story, man. It's just a different story. So, on Saturdays was a busy day. That was our busiest day. And that was probably my funnest day because there was a lot of activity. It was a lot of, going on. Mm-hmm. But if it was like a Tuesday and there was a threat of rain, it would be just too boring for me. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I did that for probably about a year or two, and anyway, and that time things were up and running really well. Like when we first bought it, that was exciting also to get the car wash. It's like buying a fixer-upper house. You're painting it, you're remodeling it, you're building the goodwill. Got involved with that was my first experience with working with the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got to, do you remember Brad Nail?
Yes.
Yeah. Great guy. Yep. So I got involved. What's the big deal in Pittsburgh? It was the Seafood Festival.
Yep.
So, really got entrenched in the community with volunteering and working with Brad and the people. And that, good times. I have good memories from that. And that was all because of the car wash. They get immersed in the community.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. So, and you did tell me, and I thought this was funny, just because it shows that, you learn stuff even from stuff you hate,
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like somebody had called you and you talked to them because they wanted, come on, tell the story. Come on.
Okay. Yeah. So Dennis Erickson.
Yes.
He was the founder and publisher of BAM Media, the Micro Times and other publications. So Dennis is a great guy. And he's teaching over at St. Mary's. Professor Erickson, as I call him. So no, he's over at St. Mary's, and I don't know, some fella, people would reach out to Dennis and say, "Hey, Dennis, blah blah blah," and he says somebody I guess was interested in buying a car wash, and Dennis said, "Oh, you got to talk to my friend Joe Stokely." So Dennis calls me, he goes, "Hey, I'm going to have Harry, whoever it was, give you a call." I said, "I'm happy to talk to him." So the fella calls me up and he goes, "Hey, Joe, Dennis told me to call you. Seriously contemplating about purchasing a car wash. Can you tell me how wonderful and how exciting and everything it is?" I said, "Don't do it." I said, "My advice is don't buy the car wash." And he was really surprised. Like, why not? And I said, "Hey, if like anything, I think a lot of people think I'm going to buy this and hire some people and it's going to run itself." And I said, "It's not." I go, "You have to be there. You have to be there all the time. Or you're going to have to bring somebody as an equity partner and make them have some ownership in it." But I said, the only way it's going to work and be successful is you're going to have to be there. Are you willing to do that? And that was not what his plan was.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know if he ever did or not. I don't think so. I think when I got done with him, he wasn't in any hurry to buy a car wash. But nothing against the car wash business. And it's very lucrative. It can be really good. But it doesn't mean just because something makes a lot of money that you're automatically going to enjoy it and get up every day and go to work and look forward to it. So,
yeah. Well, and I think that the, with any small business is you got to be in the business.
Absolutely.
You can't, it's like, like our friend Scott Davis, who owned Hughes for all those years. It's like, you cannot be an absentee owner with a bar and a restaurant or anything like that.
No.
It'll run itself right into the ground.
Yeah, you got to have you got to have the supervision, but also I just look at all the successful businesses, the ones that people, your employees, that they're passionate about, that they need to work for a strong leader. Mm-hmm. The owner of the business, the leader of the business, if they're passionate about it and treat their people good, you're going to get the same thing. But if you have an absentee owner, who are they working for? So I just think the odds are against you by not being there.
Yeah. So, so you've probably done a million other things.
Not a million, 100,000 other things. Okay.
You got any other good stories about that? And then we'll get to the real estate, because that's
Sure.
really where you're kind of making your nickels now.
That's
and
what I'm
really
doing
what
right
you're
now.
known for here. So,
Boy,
so talk about kind of that. I mean, unless you have another story you want to share about a business, because I love that the car wash thing, because it's like you did it, you learned, you moved on, and you were honest about it with somebody who was like, thinking they were going to go off and do something.
Yeah.
And I don't think everybody does that. So.
No. I have lots of stories, and but it's hard for me just to think of one.
Yeah.
If you cue me up, they'll pop up or whatever. So I'm sorry, I don't have one that I could just think of. But ask me something.
So let's talk about real estate.
Okay.
Because you have a long arc on real estate. So so kind of how did you get going in that, and then how did you get to where you are now?
So I always when I was a kid, I loved drawing buildings and cityscapes and things like that, and I thought I wanted to be an architect. And, but I wasn't very good at math. Okay. And, I had a real challenge with math. And, so, I don't know, man, your teachers are supposed to inspire you and motivate you. So anyway, I don't know what the heck happened. And maybe over time, my brain kind of forgot or whatever. But one of my teachers back in junior high school, said, don't think about being an architect. You're not good at math. So I kind of shot that idea down. So I never really, because I wasn't any good at math, so I didn't think any more about being an architect. But I always liked buildings. I always liked, you don't have to be an architect to appreciate, design and history of buildings and things like that. So I always enjoyed that. I still to this day. And I think it was probably here at DVC that I took business classes, and I just said, like, hey, maybe I should look at a career in real estate. And if you're good at it, you can make a pretty good living at it as well. Again, referring to my dad, he always was an entrepreneur and worked with other entrepreneurs that owned businesses. And I remember as a kid, my early memories, I remember Dad would have fellas come over, like whoever owned this company, a friend of his did something. And in our neighborhood, people, and nothing wrong with this, it's just in our neighborhood, we grew up, it was pretty middle class. People owned like a 1969 Maverick or a Mustang or an LTD or something like that. But Dad's friends, I noticed this, they drive over, they had like a Lincoln Continental or a Cadillac. And then moving forward, like I just noticed, like, hey, these fellas that own their own businesses, they seem to be doing better than just your regular employee. And it just made an impression on me. And so I kind of just leaned that direction. And just the combination of liking being in sales, liking working with people, liking, buildings and real estate and things like that. One thing led to another. Maybe I read some books or something. And so early on, probably in the late 80s, early 90s, started buying rental properties. And that's from my time working at American Savings and Loan, American Savings Bank, somewhere it switched over. Another good friend of mine, Dave Ashburn, he was like one of the top lenders there, loan agents. And he kind of showed me the ropes. And so I said, hey, I know how these loan programs work. I can buy this, refinance that, take cash. I never went out and bought a Corvette or a boat. I would take that money and buy another rental property and just parlayed that. Fortunately, during those times, property values continued to increase as interest rates went down. And I knew how to work this one loan program, which was the option arm adjustable rate mortgage, and another thing called negative amortization loans. So I don't know anybody in the listening audience knows what they are, but they're not for everybody. But what you do is you buy a property, a duplex, and hopefully it goes up in value. And then you can refinance it. And when you do that, I never planned on paying these loans off in 30 years. So 2-3 years, you got appreciation, you refinance it, take the cash out of that, do another loan like that to put a down payment. All these properties we purchased, we always had 20-25% down. Mm-hmm. So we always had skin in the game and go on from there. So my wife, fortunately, Sheila, she was up to taking these risks and was very helpful and along my side doing the whole thing. And then you had the 2008 financial meltdown, mm-hmm. and I was working with a large real estate investment company at that time, selling large office buildings, a program that was called TICs, Tenant in Common. So you sell your apartment building for like $1 million, and you're like, I don't want to pay all these taxes. So what they have is what's called a 1031 tax deferred exchange. You take all that equity that you accumulated owning that apartment building and buy another piece of real estate.
Oh.
Okay. If you take any of that money and put it in your pocket, they're going to tax you on it as capital gains. But you could take all that, buy another piece of property. And that's what I was doing. I was working with a company that offered the new shopping center or office building. So, and it was all managed and taken care of for you. So I did that for a number of years. That was a lot of fun. That was a good time. And then 2008 came around and that all went away. That company went bankrupt and I was out of a job. And so Sheila and I are like, what are we going to do? You know? And I said, well, we own several rental properties and we're doing pretty good at managing those. And let's start a property management company. And so that was 16 years ago. Mm-hmm. And today we have about 20 employees. We manage about 1,000 doors, as they call them. Like every house, you consider the front door. If it's an apartment building, if it's 20 units, it's 20 doors. So we focus on Contra Costa County. And so it's a great business. It's never dull. It's always something going on. And
especially with 20 employees and 1,000 doors.
Yeah,
that's a lot of things. A lot of things moving.
It's a lot of moving parts. So that's where we're at today. And it's all it's all going good. I wouldn't change a thing. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't change a thing.
Okay, and you still haven't bought that Corvette yet?
No, I drive a pickup truck.
I know, which and you probably use it for pickup truck stuff.
I do.
Yes.
I'd say my Dodge Ram pickup truck is the best car I've ever had. It's roomy and you're riding high up, but it's most versatile. You know, mm-hmm. You got it's better than a Corvette.
Yeah.
So no, I'd like to get a Corvette. I just haven't gotten around to buying one yet.
Well, and I know you also do a ton of community stuff. And why don't we talk about that for a moment? So
sure.
I know you and I met through the Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. So talk about your time there, just kind of because I know, I left during part of your time on the board.
So Sheila and I, I work, volunteering. So I with the car wash in Pittsburgh, got involved with the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce and it's only, if you don't like doing something, don't do it. So I enjoyed it. It was fun. Mm-hmm. It was enjoyable to get to know new people, other business owners in the community and do something that was really positive. So that was fun. Then between my real estate career and the car wash, I also was in advertising. I worked with the Contra Costa Times. So when I worked at the Times and my territory was Walnut Creek, so I got involved with the Walnut Creek Chamber. I said, you know what? If I, had success with the Pittsburgh Chamber, I should probably get involved with that. So that's when I met Jay and Marcy mm-hmm. from the Charlie knows all these people. So, yeah. Their big event was their Art and Wine Festival.
Yep.
So then fast forward now, now Sheila and I started our business, and she said, hey, we really should join the Pleasant Hill Chamber. I said, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I go, that's the place to be. You gotta, if you're gonna have a business in the town, get involved with the Chamber of Commerce. So, and then Matt Rinn I think he asked me, I know he did. He asked me if I'd want to be on the board. And that was a big thing. I was really flattered to be asked to be on the board of directors. And I got to know you a lot better that way. And then just met some other really terrific people. One of them was Tom Greeno, who became a very, very good friend of mine. And just numerous other people. And it was always fun doing the mixers and different chamber events. But probably the funnest thing of them all was getting ready for the Art and Wine Festival.
Yep.
The big buildup. Being down there at like 5 o'clock in the morning, watching the sun come up, setting up all the booths. And it's just amazing. Like everybody pulling together, and you got thousands of people there having a good time and just doing some good stuff. So I think all those things really all play into your education as far as how to treat people, giving back to the community, and enjoying life. Again, I wouldn't do these things if I didn't have fun doing them and enjoy them. But again, it has everything to do with the people that you're working with.
Yeah. And well, I also know, and I'll rat you out on a couple other things here. Well, like you've been very involved with College Park.
Yes. When my children went to school there. Yeah. I was, my friend Chris Croft, he hoodwinked me into getting involved with the athletic boosters. And again, another great group of people, the parents all working for a common cause. That was very challenging times back then because they cut all funding for athletics, the school district. So we self-funded, and I think we did a better job than the school district. And so again, interesting, challenging times, but the people pulled together for, the kids were the benefactors of that. The College Park athletic boosters, the crab feeds, that was the big event where I'm sure over the years we raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. My first involvement, I never thought like me get involved with this kind of stuff. I never saw myself like that, was when the children were going to Pleasant Hill Elementary School.
Oh yeah.
Again, I'm always asked, hey, will you do this? Sure, I'll give it a shot. So got involved with the Education Foundation, and I was there for a year or two, and then I got to be the president. And but man, you know what?
Yeah.
It was great because all the people around you, they want to help, and it wasn't really any heavy lifting. If you're doing it all by yourself, yeah, forget it. But really, just great parents. So that's really where I cut my teeth, getting involved with the schools, was at the elementary school, and working with the principal and the teachers, and the Education Foundation was a whole separate entity than from the PTA. The PTA had too many rules, okay, that we could get around. Not that we were breaking any laws or anything like that, but I don't remember. The PTA had too many rules for me. The foundation were like, hey, we got to raise some money for getting a computer lab or whatever they needed. And so that gave us the opportunity to go outside of the box of what the PTA restricts you, what you can and cannot do to raise money. And I remember the first big event we had was we had the spring gala. Oh. And you can't have these events, like most events they always had on the campus, and you can't have alcohol on the campus. So I'm saying, well, why don't we do it at like the Embassy Suites Hotel, get a band, have it on a Saturday night, get the parents an opportunity to go on a date night, get dressed up. Let's make it a real big thing and stuff like that. And I think that very first one, we raised $25,000. Wow. It was like, we never had that much money before. So I still think the spring gala is going on to today at the elementary school. So that's been a good 20 years it's been going on. So, so all good stuff, all fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, it strikes me that you're willing to take on any challenge. You're about getting to yes. You're about getting to solving the problem. Would you say that that's accurate?
Yeah. I like a challenge, and it's a really great feeling when you accomplish it, when you pull everybody together and you have a success. So that's that. There's nothing else like it. That's a really good feeling to get to that. Yes, absolutely.
And now you're in Rotary, which, I think everybody makes their rounds to Rotary at some point.
Yes. No, the Rotary, Pleasant Hill Rotary, great people. Great people. I would highly recommend to everybody, if you have a business, if you're new to a town, if you're moving to wherever, or you're moving from someplace, 2 things you need to do is join the Chamber of Commerce and join the Rotary Club, because that's where you're going to get to meet people, the people that are involved in the community, the movers and shakers, as you'd call it. But just really solid, good people. I always enjoy spending time with those folks.
Cool. I think we've kind of run full circle on it. Is there anything you want to add to it? Because I mean, I've enjoyed this, and I'm sure there's other stories I want to find out about you later that are fun. I mean, like the direct mailer thing. I never knew that until we were standing here talking.
Well, I tell you what, I'm happy to come back and talk with you. I love you, Charlie. It's always great when I see you. We always have a good time talking. I can't think of anything right now, but anytime we can always do this again, and I'm happy to share my experiences.
Well, and one of the things, and I'm announcing it here, but one of the things we're looking at for the spring for the DVC Alumni is we're going to be doing a trivia night.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and so you and Mike Maxwell and stuff will have to put together a Rotary team.
Okay,
and it'll be against students and alumni and stuff. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I love trivia.
Oh, well, okay. I think most people do. So.
Yeah. No, count me in.
Well, again, Joe, thank you very much for coming over. I appreciate it. I know it took us a while to get connected, but we'll do this again.
Happy to.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for tuning in to DVC Alumni, where every story inspires the next. The official podcast of the Diablo Valley College Alumni Association, celebrating 75 years of DVC's incredible impact on education, careers, and community. We hope today's episode gave you valuable insights into the journeys of our alumni and the powerful resources available at DVC. Don't forget to join us every Tuesday for inspiring alumni stories, and on Resource Thursdays, where we spotlight DVC's departments and services, showing you how they're shaping student success. Until next time, keep pushing boundaries and exploring the connections that make DVC's legacy so special. And remember, DVC Alumni, where every story inspires the next.